2, 1. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, let me read to you something very briefly on what energy as a service, a business model for expanding deployment of low carbon technologies. And why is this important? Because this pertains to Vechain. Okay, so we need to understand this a little bit more so we can see what Vechain is doing in this specific sector. Now, what I'm about to read to you is a summary from a very well-written article about EAAS, which is Energy as a Service Business Model. I'll see if I leave the link either here or on Twitter so you can read more about this if you're curious. But I'm basically just going to read the summary. I highly suggest that you should read it. I think it's a very well-written article. It's a great read, but here's the summary. Energy as a Service, EAAS, is a business model whereby customers pay for energy service without having to make any upfront capital investment. EAAS models usually take the form of a subscription for electrical devices owned by a service company or management of energy usage to deliver the desired energy service. This issue brief explores how the EAAS model has benefited consumers by promoting advanced technology and its potential for expanding the deployment of low carbon technologies. Now, I'm going to read to you from an article talking about Vechain from the Yahoo Finance, and it says, Shanghai Gas collaborates with Vechain to roll out blockchain-powered energy as a service platform after successful test phase. Now, after I read some of this article, I'm going to give you my input on what I think about all of this, what I think about the current prices, why I'm so bullish on Vechain, why I believe that it's going to be a special return on investment. Of course, again, looking at the current prices, I might get into some political things talking about China and the United States, but I'm not going to lead you down the rabbit hole. I'll take you there. That's something that you might have to go on your own, okay? But I will say that I've been talking about Vechain for quite a bit, and one of the words that I do use is monopoly. Now, for some of those who might not like that in a way where it seems kind of controlled and centralized, well, as an investor in Vechain, and I know a lot of people will say, well, listen, you're not investing in Vechain. Listen, let's be real. We're investing in cryptocurrency, which is now VET. It pertains to Vechain. We're investors in Vechain, okay? I know. Just relax a bit. But I will talk about all these things. And again, I'm not going to get too much into that. Can't do that publicly. But I'll do my best. Like what I try to do is to give you as much information as I can without really saying it in that type of manner. But I want to finish my point before we briefly, touch on some of this article pertaining to Shanghai Gas and the Vechain Door platform. Now, again, I've always been talking about, when I would talk about Vechain and China, in the earlier days, I would always mention monopoly, the China monopoly. And it has to do with Vechain. And if you do your research on Vechain, you can see a lot of these partnerships, a lot of these sectors. And even I'll give you a little bit here about Jim Breyer, how big he is in China. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let me just dial it back a little bit. Let's get into the article. Remember, I got to be careful what I say over the air about certain things. So let's just stick to the norm for right now. All right. So Shanghai Gas Group Company, or Group Company Limited, which provides energy coverage for Greater Shanghai metropolitan area, collaborate further with Vechain to develop and roll out a blockchain-enabled energy project. Now let's go a little further down. Again, you can find this article on Yahoo Finance. Here you can see the product data is transparent and traceable on the Vechain Door public blockchain. It says, as one of the leading forces of the global demand for natural gas, China is facing the challenge of effective management of its domestic market. In 2017, the National Development and Reform Commission, NDRC, of China unveiled its 13th five-year plan on energy development to facilitate the building of a trusted energy national network, but the lack of information sharing between stakeholders has brought great difficulties. Therefore, a more transparent solution has become a must-need in the industry, in which blockchain technology has emerged as a viable solution. That's where Vechain comes into play. Now, I'm just going to read a little bit more. Again, you can find this article on Yahoo Finance. So if you want to continue reading, I'm just going to read a little bit more, and then I'm going to get into some of the things that I want to talk about. Okay, so as a dominant player in the domestic energy industry, Shanghai Gas joined hands with ENN and Vechain to deploy the pilot blockchain-enabled LNG liquefied natural gas solution. Based on the success of the pilot project, Shanghai Gas decides to enhance the collaboration to reap more benefits, which lead to the decision to kick off the further blockchain-based energy project. Okay, let me read that. Based on the success of the pilot project, Shanghai Gas decides to enhance the collaboration to reap more benefits, which leads to the decision to kick off further blockchain-based energy project. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be fooled by the price of Vechain where it's at right now. Okay? In fact, like I have stated and have been saying it for quite a bit, this is a blessing in disguise. This is, for me, exciting to be able to get an investment opportunity such as Vechain at these, to me, ridiculously suppressed, way undervalued prices. Again, it's almost like if we are able to be private investors in a company like Vechain, and to take advantage before the wide majority get a chance to purchase an investment opportunity such as Vechain. Again, a lot of people can disagree. I've understood what I was getting into for quite a bit. Certain delays because of certain other extremities. I've mentioned these things before. I'm not going to talk about that too much because, things in the past are things in the past. It's not to say that things that were done were illegal. No, it's just the way that smart money handles things. They're not going to get into something that is really at a all-time high type of level. In fact, it's the antithesis, it's the reciprocal, it is the opposite. They get in at very low at the foundation level, and that's to be understood when you start tackling all these partnerships and all these different things, because they're not just looking at, a year from now, 2 years from now. They're looking at things like you can almost think about a DMVGL who has been in business for 100 years and some change. You look at PwC, and then you China, then you look at China, and you got to understand too. There's a lot of patience, especially in different cultures. They're very patient. For some of us in the United States, we like things very quick, fast. Let's get it, and in some different regions as well. But when you look at China per se, and the dynasty of China, going back to like thousands of years, 4,000 years, they know how to, play the game. They know how to be passive aggressive. They know how to be patient. We don't need to get into all this, but you need to understand this because of the angle that I'm trying to portray to you and facilitate to you in regards to Vechain, that don't just look at Vechain as just another type of cryptocurrency, all right? Again, I'm going to talk about this. Look at Vechain as part of this China philosophy, China monopoly, not a China hustle, where a lot of people, can mention certain things, but we're not going to talk about that. But to really look at this as from a wider and deeper perspective, and I've always been saying this, patience is the key. Patience is the key. Now, things are moving faster because of different things that are happening around the world, and this will actually, and I don't want to talk about this because there's even certain people that that I've come into contact with, certain family members that are going through this coronavirus, but at the end of the day, it is something that people are now trying to move things quicker. Okay, and not just talking about Vechain, but in a lot of different ways when it comes to technology and advancements. Excuse me, they're trying to move quicker, and because this is almost like a wake up call. I don't want to get too much into that. I really can go a lot in there, and I'm not going to. I'll touch on this politically and about certain exchanges like a Coinbase and U.S. exchanges when it comes to Vechain. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I will mention this because I did say I would talk a little bit about it. Remember, China and the United States. Just have that in the back of your mind. with why about this and U.S. exchanges and what's the game plan for the United States. I will say this, okay? China has major influence on certain cities in the United States, on certain universities in the United States, on certain major investors in the United States. Again, China is very, very intelligent. And when I talk about China, I'm talking about the people in charge, and they have a system of how to keep people happy and have their influence at the same time. Not going to go down that rabbit hole too much, but again, sticking back to Vechain, I believe I have a strong tie to this investment, and I've been saying that it's a special return on investment. You look at the current prices again where it's at. I believe we have a lot of room to grow, a lot of leverage to the upside. I strongly like leverage when I'm investing. I'm one of those that can be very patient and just wait for it to come to me. And I don't like chasing. And I believe that when the time comes for the harvest, and specifically Vechain, and again, I'm been saying this, we're a 2-year window for this cryptocurrency bull market, but to isolate Vechain, quite a bit. Remember, Bitcoin. Let me touch on this for a little bit and reemphasize this. What's happening with the cryptocurrency market is the selling pressure from the miners, okay, before the halving, right? Getting what I like to say is their last sips, and then what's taking place globally with this virus and the fear, the panic that has touched everything. Okay, so with that being said, you got Vechain, who has a lot of bullish news surrounding it, and those who are wise enough can take advantage. And if you do your research on it, I hate to use this term. Dumb money just looks at certain things with like a rigid mentality. They don't look at the development. They don't look at the fundamentals. They're just looking at, oh, it's price, it's a shitcoin, blah blah blah, China hustle. I got no other information. And that's, again, I'm not trying to be offensive, but that's just really a simple approach on something that you're not really understanding, that the whole cryptocurrency market has taken a hit. Well, certain cryptos like a Chainlink yet you don't even understand what's going on there. There's a lot of other things happening. There's whales getting involved, moving things up. A lot of these cryptocurrencies, and I'm not saying that Chainlink. This is why I hate bringing up a crypto, because then I got to explain further. I'm not saying Chainlink is not doing what they're doing and having success. I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not saying that this is a false thing. In fact, I wouldn't know about what Chainlink is doing. I would be careful. What I can tell you is that Vechain and the research and all these different things that I have mentioned beforehand has me really, really focused on Vechain and saying, listen, this is the one you got to stay in for that special return on investment. And when it's given to you a certain price, to take advantage. And I'm just speaking about myself. I can't give you financial advice. Okay, so that special return on investment, I believe, will be taking place for myself in the years ahead. And when I say in the years ahead, I'm not talking about 10 years. I'm talking about from a year to 2 years. And how much I'm going to release, again, it's a step-by-step process. That's to be determined. How much will I keep on increasing more if I see another price drop to a certain level that I like? That also could be happening. So as that happens, what takes place for me and for those who are taking advantage of what, and I'm going to say it like this, the Vechain market is giving them at these certain price levels, makes it more of a special return on investment. Again, not financial advice. Want to share different things here. And again, I said I'll be talking more about Vechain, and I am talking more about Vechain. All right, guys, I think there's enough here. Again, I don't want to make the video way too long. Stay blessed, be blessed. You already know.
Five, four, three, two, one. Oh, all engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.